Welcome back to the channel. We're out in the garage today, literally in the garage, because I've got a problem with the garage door. Keen-eyed viewers may notice that this spring is tight. This spring free floats. And that one's wrong. It should be tight. The reason that one free floats is that way down in the bottom there's an L bracket that the height adjuster or tension adjuster connects to, and it broke. So I'm going to make an L bracket for it, and that'll be one part of it. The other part is that up in the corners the rails are moving back and forth. The screws have come out of those. So I'm going to have to put screws in those. But the reason I want to put screws in those, not just because they're not supposed to move like that, is that over here the pivot point is pulling through the arm. This one did it last year and I fixed it. Now this one is starting to do it. So to take that arm off and fix it, I've got to support the door from the rails with a cargo strap. But I can't do that if the arms are moving. So to fix the L bracket and the spring, I have to fix the mounting brackets up there. Yeah. One of those chain problems. To fix this, you got to fix 3 other things. So there's not much room for you in here, but I'll do the best I can, because I've got a loader tractor, a table saw, a workbench, the metal lathe, the welder, another welder with the bottle. There's just no room in here for you, but we'll do our best. Anyway, hope you enjoy the video. Sit tight and we'll see how it goes. So that went sideways about as fast as you can imagine. I went to put a screw in the first bracket up there and discovered the bracket is made by the factory has a hole you can put your finger through. And that's the hole that the rail attaches to the bracket that attaches to the wall. So there's no way to hold it firmly there. It just wiggles around. It's got a 1/4 inch bolt in a probably 1 inch hole. So I don't like that. I'm going to make new brackets, one for each corner. They're mirror images. I've got a chunk of angle iron that I've had laying around, so I'll make it out of that. It's thicker than this. That'll add some rigidity, hopefully. It'll probably just pull the screws out of the wall faster, but, you know, life is such. Anyways, there's no magic in making a bracket, although some YouTube channels may have made an entire reputation of making brackets. Yeah. But anyway, I'm not going to film it. You can come back in a few minutes when I get it made up. See you later. Alright, well, we're back. And as they say, no plan survives first contact. Or as the boxers say, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. I replaced those 2 brackets for the corners with new brackets. I made new ones. These ones I didn't think were long enough. They were pulling out at the top, so there was no support up there. So I extended them so they come down below the rail. We'll see how that works. There was no magic. Now we're going to move on to the part that is actually broken. The L bracket for the bottom of the spring. And it snapped. It was good thick material and it just tore it apart. So I'm thinking there may be too much tension on it, but I'm also thinking bigger bracket. This one is substantially thicker. almost twice as thick. I found it in my scrap bin. Already has a hole for the bolt for mounting it to the wall, but it needs to be upsized. I will have to add a bolt hole here to hook the spring to. I'm going to drill and tap it for an eye bolt so that I can extend that and get more or less tension out of it. But yeah, so we're looking at 2 holes and a bit of threading. Maybe I'll bring you back for the threading, we'll see. Ignore the clutter. That'll work. That'll work fine. Got to drill that one next. So it's a 5/16 eye bolt. So I've got a 1/4 inch drill. We'll see how that goes. Well, we're through. I'm going to dig out the tap set and yeah, move over there. In what I am calling a horrible coincidence, others might call a horrible abuse and lack of maintenance, my primary 5/16 tap is broken. It won't screw on. So I went to my backup tap, and likewise, it's all messed up. So I had to go to my backup tap. And it doesn't look much better, but it at least cuts threads. So yeah, let's see how that goes. I'm going to add a little bit of oil to get us started. I did chamfer that after we were done on the drill press. Let's see how she goes. See if I can keep it straight. If I can't, I'm just going to re-drill it and I'll put some backer nuts on it. That's not looking real straight, but neither am I, so. The vise wants to twist. I should probably bolt it to something someday. Someday. Not today. Yeah, that happens. Let's put that back in. Tighten that down. Put the handle back on. And carry on like nothing happened. Yeah, I really should bolt that down. It is completely awkward. Not so much when you're tapping, but when you're backing up. I can at least use my leg when I'm tapping. Oh, there we go. Seems like we have taps. We have threads, I mean. There we go. We are in like Flynn. Let's just see if the eye bolt works. Yep, eye bolt works. I am going to put some backer nuts on it anyway. Down here I'll put a couple of nuts on them, probably one, just to lock it in place. Give it a little extra thread engagement. Not that it needs it, but you know, every little bit helps. Anyway, I'm going to climb down in the corner over there and screw that on. You're not going to be able to see it because, yeah, there's hardly room for me down there. So that was short-lived and unjustified optimism. Apparently the rod that the spring connects to has to be able to slide up and down in it, as does that one, so that when the door is up and the spring is slack, this can slide down and take up some of that space. So I'm going to have to re-drill that hole large enough for the 5/8 rod to pass through, but then I need something for the spring to hook up to, so I'm going to use this piece of randomness, and I'm going to cut it in so that the threaded rod is in the middle of it, and I'm going to weld that up. Yeah, let's see how that goes. I'm going to put the welding bib on and get the grinder set up, and I'll bring you back. See if we can break that out yet. Probably not. Yeah, we'll do the angly cut thing on it. I'm going to put a grinding wheel on and I'll bring you back when I'm finished. Alright, I've got my part set up. I've got it shimmed up above so that the threaded rod is roughly in the center of the other piece. I cut it off and drilled a hole in the top of it. No magic in that. Anyway, I'm going to fire up the flux core welder and see if I can't make a horrible mess of this. Gotta turn it on. Yeah, I missed that line completely. Oh, it's better. I'm going to flip it over and see what the other side does. Oh yay. That'll be a problem. Helmet wants to fall off. Alright, it's free. And hot. Side 2. Where are you? There we are. Well, that's certainly not horrible. Well, yeah. Once that cools down and I hit it with a grinder, it's almost straight. Not balanced, but it's straight. Anyway, I'll get you a shot of that, and I'm going to hit it with the wire wheel grinder and see if it's still pretty. Well, as with most things in life, one side's pretty and one side's not. I'm going to switch to the flap wheel and pretty it up a bit. And besides, only one side gets seen, so, and it's way down in there. Nobody's ever going to see it anyway, so yeah, not that worried about it. Well, there you go. After hitting it with the flap wheel, both sides are pretty. I'll get you some hero shots while I put the grinder away. Alright, so I've got my part ready. I've got my bracket. I opened up this hole so it'll slide through. I made a little bit of a washer out of some really thick stuff so that it doesn't pull through. And I've got a couple of nuts to lock that off at the right height so that it can slide up and down. But for the next part, for the cutting to length bit, I've actually got to put the bracket down in where it belongs. And we'll see if you can see that, but I doubt you can. And then once I get that in, I can size it and life will be good, hopefully. Or I might just measure that one and go with that. We'll see. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I'll measure that one and cut this one off and life will be good. And then we'll go down in there. Well, I hope you can see, but that's what we're after there. We'll see how this goes. Well, it's in and noisy. Let's put the rest of it together. That goes in there, that goes on there, and then a couple of nuts on the bottom. I know you can't see, but neither can I. Oh. There we go. That's a start. And you can see what has to happen there. That has to go up and down like that. I'm going to open the door and we'll set the spring height. So that just leaves the question of whether it'll go up and down. Let's give it a shot. Well, it closes. Gaps aren't bad. Could be a little closer this way, but let's see if it'll open. Yep, it goes up. Anyway, so that just leaves that ugly mess, and I haven't decided whether I'm going to pull that all apart, put a new pin in it, or whether I'm just going to put a washer over it and weld it solid. But that's not for today. Today it's Saturday and it's 4:45, so I'm quitting for the day. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you on the next one. Bye.